Hey, welcome Northeast Missouri Angler. Dennis, I'm here at home, and just a few things I want to touch on since the year's just about over. First of all, tonight at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, uh, Jason Kaiser at Strike Three Fishing, and I will be doing a kind of a year-end wrap-up, talking about fishing on the Mark Twain, especially winter fishing in general. Um, and that will take place on his channel. So that's Strike Three Fishing. That's where it'll be at. It'll be live. You'll be able to ask questions, stuff like that, if you'd like. And we may have the one of the guides at the lake, Mr. Kenny Wilkerson with Wilkie's Guide Service. He may pop in and chat a little bit with us also. May answer some questions if he comes in, whatnot. If you have any questions about that stuff. Um, Also, just kind of it's going to be kind of a little blog thing here. I want to thank everybody for that subscribed to my channel this year. I started this out on a whim, kind of, and it took off. And the more I done it, the more I enjoyed doing it. Just enjoyed sharing my experiences on the water around the Mark Twain Lake. Either it was catfishing or crappie fishing, just anything I was doing out there fishing where I was able to take some video and share that with you all, at home with you. So for everybody that's subscribed, I really appreciate you following and watching my content, and there's more coming. Couple of people I want to thank in particular. There's a few that supported me on this little idea that turned into something that I really enjoy doing. In particular, I have to give a shout out to Mary and Rich at the Country Inn Resort. Friends of mine this summer, pretty much whenever I stopped there, when I was going crappie fishing, I'd stop there to get minnows or whatnot on the way to the lake. They wouldn't let me pay for them, and they didn't have to do that. I don't ask for anything for free, of course, but you know, it helps me out, even though the people do that, and makes me feel good. And I just want Rich and Mary, if you're watching this, I want you to know how much I appreciate your support. uh it allows me to go fishing even more, when I have less expense like it. So I really appreciate that. Another one I want to make sure I give a shout out to is Van with Thumper Jigs. I've used Thumper Jigs whether he give me some or not. I've used them last 2 years. He's seen on the channel. He's seen one of my videos and noticed that I said I used them, and put together a little jig package for me, and gave that to me. And that, once again, that means the world to me. I would have used them whether he done that or not. I was already using them. I've continued to use them, but that was nice. He didn't have to do that, and he did do that, and I've been using them, and I'm going to continue using them. So I got to say thanks to him for that. And another one, last but not least, was on one of my videos. I had a guy contact me, and it was Matt with Wild Willie's o.c.d plastics, makes crappie jigs and whatnot, and asked me if of course, I don't use a whole lot of them, but when I do use them, I just, this is all the crappie jigs, all the crappie plastic I have right here. It's just a quart bag. And of course, I use whatever colors. I don't really look at who makes them, anything like that. I've got several in here. Of course, the big ones, everybody uses. They're just the ones that are readily available in multiple places. Your Bobby Garlands and your Strike King, the big names. It's just whatever. And but Matt got a hold of me, and he asked, do you ever use them? You don't use them that much, I noticed. And I'm like, no, I do use them. It's just right now on these videos I've made, I'm just not using them because I haven't needed to. I mainly use a minnow. Even when I use a jig, a lot of times I'll tip it with a minnow. And so I don't use a whole lot of plastics. But when I do, I have certain colors I like and whatnot, certain styles. And there's a video I posted, I think it was September 15th. And when I started the video out, I was showing people, I'm using this, is what I'm using. And I had a little red and white body plastic on one of the thumper jig heads, and I didn't give no thought who it was at the time, whose it was. But come to find out, this is actually them right here that I was using on that video, and they were from Wild Willie's. I didn't even know I had any of his jigs, so I'm already using them. And then when I was on Panfish Nation there, and somebody asked me about natural bait colors, I was talking about how the fry, are kind of dark, and I showed this one here. Well, it's also a Wild Willie's bait, so I'm already using your bait, Matt. You've made it into the little baggie, of bait. You got just almost as much there as everybody else. But anyway, I went to work. He contacted me and whatnot and said, I got something I want you to try. And well, anyway, this morning I got up to go get ready to go to work, and laying on my deep freeze, my wife had went to the post office, I guess, and I got a box. So I know what this is. I'm kind of excited. I haven't opened it yet. I figure I'd just open it on here and see what all it is if I can get into it, some of these boxes. But I'm kind of excited about it. I don't use a lot of plastics, but when I do, I go buy what I need. But I mean, this is above and beyond what I was expecting, Matt. This is awesome. I got a whole bag of goodies. Oh, I've got all kinds of goodies. There's more in there than I thought. Oh, look at that. There's the ones right here. That's the ones that I had. And I already got some more of them. So I know these are going to get used because I like these in the spring. So I got some purple. They don't say what colors they are, but they're a purple glitter. They got a chrome glitter in them. Ooh, I like these. And then I got some light blue. It looks like a white or almost like a milk color bottom. Now those will work good. The video I posted Christmas Eve, I was actually using a light blue with a milky tail. So these probably are going to get used tomorrow, Friday when I go out, for sure. Then chartreuse and white, looks like a couple packets. Some more of the purple, that's good because I go through them. This is more like a really dark purple, almost black. May even be black. So, but that's him there. And guys, his plastics are really reasonable. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Looks like there's 12 or 13 of them in that package for $4 is the price tag on them. So I mean that's a really reasonable price for a pack of jig for that many jig bodies. And then she looks like chartreuse and white. I don't know if you can. Hopefully that'd be a good spring color for sure when the water's a little bit dingy. I got all kinds. He sent me all kinds of stuff. I like this one too. That's the dark color with a white, almost a black flake with a silver body. And solid white, of course, is always a good color in summer. It looks like we got some kind of clear, sparkly, almost clear with sparkle, gold and black flake with a chartreuse tail, it looks like. If you can see them real well in there. And it's another package of the other. Boy, he's got all kinds of goodies in here. All kinds of purples. Oh, here's a good color too. This reminds me of a milk color with gold and black flake. That will work really good. Even now, a friend of mine, he's been using, he says it's called monkey milk. I don't know. I'm not real good on remembering all these colors because everybody has their own name for certain colors. This is a white milk color with a flake on it. I don't really do the whole special names people put with them because I'll screw up, and half of them I can't say unless they're pretty simple. More purples. Well, I'll tell you what, you hooked me up, Matt. I'm not going to have to buy any jigs for a long time because I'm pretty simple on mine. I like this green too. There's some green scent. couple of them. More of the shad color with purple, kind of some purple in it. I really like this light blue. It reminds me, what they remind me of is a ice color, blue ice color. I really like that blue with that white belly. That's going to be good. What else we got here? He's got 2 bags of stuff in here. That's the colors, it looks like. He sent me. Yeah. And then I got another bag in a bag. I got more. You sent me more plastic than I own. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. This is the bag in the bag. What do we got here? We got bobbers, little corks. And I use a lot of these little corks. We got some orange ones here. You know, little stick corks. I like these. I actually use these. I've got like 3 or 4 left. That's all I got. I use these to catch my bait for catfishing when I'm going and getting bluegill, you know, in ponds and stuff, you know, for bait for catfishing, or if I want to set any lines or running jugs or anything. These are the corks I actually use. So and I'm about out. I think I got 2 or 3 left, and they're pretty rough shape. So these are definitely going to come in handy. And then more baits. We got a kind of a clear colored, I don't know if you can see that real well. And on the camera, it's a lot lighter than the actual color. It's a little more green than what's on the camera. But it's a green kind of, not clear, but what do they call it? Translucent, with flake in it. And then yellow and white, which is a spring color for me. I really like it in the spring, during the spawn especially. And then more of the milk colored with gold and black flake in them. And this one's a little different. It's got more of a gray, kind of a gray back with the white milky belly with black and blue. It looks like flake in it. Little red flakes too in there. That'd be a good one, especially on shad spawn. That mimics shad spawn, the shad fry really well. And then we got the kind of iridescent with glitter with a yellow tail more than chartreuse. But and then some more white. Ooh, this one I really like. I've been using just the thumper jig head in orange, and then this here, that orange body, that's going on Friday to start off the day. I can tell you that now, because I bought some cheap orange bodies and with a yellow tail because I couldn't find anything like I liked, and I've been cutting the orange body off and putting that on my orange jig heads, so it has a little more orange on it when I've been fishing here this winter. Got a few packages of those. Those are going to be good ones. But and then of course the good red and white ones that I already have. More of those. Several packages of those. Yeah. How about that? Matt, I can't thank you enough for this. Hey, your support here by giving me this stuff to try. I mean, I'm going to try it for sure. I already had some, so I know I'll definitely use it. And whenever I do use it, I'll make sure to let everybody know that, you know, this is what I have on today, type deals like I do in my videos. And that way you get the recognition for sending me this stuff, because I mean these look like a 2-inch. Yeah, it looks like maybe a 3-inch even. Pretty big, pretty long. And then I think some of them are 2s and some of them are a little smaller, maybe 1.5 inches. Seems like wintertime, the smaller ones, I like using the smaller, you know, the shorter ones than I do anything. But yeah, that's great, Matt. Thank you. I really appreciate that. They're definitely going to get, I got to buy a box to even put them in, because I don't even, because they aren't going to fit in another one of these. I may be a gallon bag, but then they won't fit in the top of my box, because I'm about out of room in my bag, my tackle bag. So I got to get their own little thing for them. So, which that's great. But no, get back on topic here. But But those are the three people that has helped me out by, either giving me something or whatnot. Um, get back on topic here. Fishing this last year. Mark Twain started out in the spring. Usually start fishing about as quick as I can get on the water. I think the first time I went, there's ice actually up on the lake, and I went below the dam. Found there was open water down there until you got about a mile from the re-regulation dam, and then it was froze up. The water was really cold. I didn't catch anything, but hey, I got out. It was nice. Um, and then it seemed like probably about March, I started getting out. I was up on the lake and I was doing some fishing and whatnot. And I caught a couple, one here, one there. No big ones or anything. And it wasn't one of them days where you go out there and you just catch them one after the other. Um, it seemed like it was about mid-April before I was actually able to go out there and bang out half dozen or so. And when I did, the water was still cold, and you had to really target where they were. It wasn't just pull up somewhere, cast out, and oh, okay, I'm going to catch a few. Um, and it was like that until about June, really. Um, I fished the Knights of Columbus tournament, which is always fun. It was in May this last year, and did all right. I mean, I just drug. I never threw an anchor out, never nosed into the bank or anything. All I did was drag baits, and I caught a few. I mean, we had a 5 fish limit, but it no big ones. 3 4 pound channel cats. Um, and no blue cat, which was unusual because the week before, uh, I caught a 20 pounder, a blue cat, and I was catching only blues. It seemed like the channel cats turned on late for me. Normally, you start out catching channel. I do anyway. I catch as many channels as I do blues early. But this year, I didn't catch very many channels until about May. And it seemed like the channel cat finally turned on. Um, Crappie fishing in the spring, it was okay for me. The water was kind of high. And just about the time it really started getting good, at least where I was fishing on the lake, mostly Lick Creek for them, we had a couple big rains. The water really came up about 10, 12 feet, and it made it kind of tough. There was about a 3 week period there where it was okay. It was okay. I never had one of them days where you go out there and, bang, 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 30 minutes, you're done in the spring. But I haven't had one of those in the spring now for 7 or 8 years. So, and of course, during summertime, I pretty much mainly just catfish from after the crappie spawn is over and they're easy to catch on the banks. I pretty much switch over to all catfish. The other place I did some fishing this summer was on the Mississippi, but below between Saberton and Clarksville. I mainly put in at Ted Shanks. And the fishing there wasn't as good as it was last year. I did catch a few fish, no big ones, but I caught some nice, 10 pounds, a couple flathead, which is always nice to get flathead. Um, and on the Mississippi, really, I don't keep anything over about 10 pounds to eat. The toxins and stuff in the water just aren't I don't like keeping big ones there. I don't keep very many at all, but I did keep the flatheads just because I hadn't caught but like one up on the lake. So, and flathead, let's face it, it's the best catfish to eat, really, in my opinion, anyway. And then through summer, it was really consistent fishing. The water was really high, but you could find fish and you could consistently catch fish. You had to look a little harder than you normally would and had to be smart about where you were fishing because places where I would normally fish that were only like 8 foot of water, 8 or 10 foot of water, normally we're in 30 foot of water because the lake was so high all summer. So I had to adjust for that, move closer to the banks, fish areas that normally were high and dry. That's where I was having to fish in order to get them, which made it so I couldn't do the dragging I normally do because of all the cattail bushes and all that stuff that was in that area. And it would just spook them as the bait was being drugged through that. It would spook fish before the bait even got to them. So I did a lot more anchor fishing this year than I normally would. Uh, then I made the switch over to crappie about the end of August or so, and I haven't looked back on that since then because it's this fall on Mark Twain. The crappie fishing has just been phenomenal this fall and winter so far. So, winter catfish tips. The biggest tip I can give for wintertime is The fish are not roaming like they are in the summer months. Um, and depending on what you're fishing for, Ramsey, uh, channel cat'll bite all year. You just have to find where they're at, and that's the biggest thing between summer and winter fishing, and spring fishing. Winters, they're very particular. They're gonna be held up somewhere. So whether it be on a deeper hole, if you're on an area of water that, say, it's a small river or even a big river, and you normally catch them in 8 or 10 feet of water, you're probably not going to find them there if there's deeper holes. Look for your deeper holes, 20, even 30, 40 foot of water at times. That's definitely where the blues will be. They'll move to them deep holes. One other place you can fish for if you're on a river, say like the Mississippi or Missouri, if there's a lock, it's got a deep hole of water around that, just below the lock. That's one place you can find them. On a lake, you're going to have to target specific structure. Um, Look for big laydowns, big rock, uh, on the edge of ledges, old river channels that run in that lake. If there's a river channel, they're probably going to be on them. Look on them drop offs. Uh, and they'll be hanging out. Blues will be hanging out on the edge of them drop offs. Is where they'll be this time of year. Channel cat will congregate around big laid down trees. If you can find a 4 foot round, 30 foot long tree that has fell over and sunk to the bottom in anywhere from 25 to 15 to 25 foot of water, um, that's probably where you're going to catch where the channel cat are going to congregate around it. And they'll be laid right up against it. It's hard to see them. You can see them with live scope if you have that. You can see them move as long as they're off the bottom. But other than that, you're just going to have to use your side scan and look for that stuff. Uh, One thing, though, in the wintertime you can look for is on them nice bluebird days, say it's been cold for quite a while, and suddenly you get a 60, 65-degree day in the middle of winter and the sun's really beating down. Sometimes them fish will move up, especially blues. They'll move up in 3, 4, 5 foot of water because where the sun can warm that water up 4 or 5 degrees warmer than the rest of the body of water around it. And the bait fish will come up in there. And sometimes the blues will follow them up in there. So don't rule out those shallow flats. Uh, in the winter, they can produce fish, but more than likely, consistently to get fish, you're going to have to fish deeper water, and you're going to have more patience. You're going to have some more patience. As far as baits, uh, tried and true, of course, is shad. If you have shad in your waters, that's my winter go-to bait. If I catfish, is shad. If you're in an area that has skipjack, of course, is another one. That and shad are pretty much in, shad's in most waters. Yeah, the further south you get, you'll find skipjack, especially like Tennessee River system. The rivers down south and lakes, some of them have it. Up where I'm at, up here in northeast Missouri, they don't know what a skipjack is. So my go-to shad. And believe it or not, everybody kind of laughs when you mention this, but chicken breast with jello, with strawberry jello on it, worked great in the cold water, early spring up on the lake when the water was, 40 degrees, 38 to 45 degrees. The jello, strawberry jello on just a chicken breast, Tyson chicken breast you buy at Walmart, you normally eat, cut it into pieces about the size of a quarter 50-cent piece. And then I mix it up, put a little olive oil in with it, not water or anything like that, just a little olive oil, uh, a couple of garlic salt, and then dump strawberry jello in there in a Ziploc baggie, and then mix it up real good, and then throw it in the back of the ice box or even put it in the freezer for about a week. That way it impregnates itself all the way through it. That worked really good in the cold water in the early spring here this last spring. Uh, so yeah, I mean, but I haven't done much catfishing. I'd say I think I've went once since I started crappie fishing since September. The crappie fishing has just been so good, and I've just been focusing on those here this fall. Now going forward, after the first of the year here, when all the hunt seasons get over and whatnot, and a couple of my fishing partners get done with their hunting. I don't hunt, I fish. So I'm waiting on them. I'm going to take a couple trips. One of them I'm real excited for is in January. I'm definitely going to go, whether my partner's ready or not. And it's probably going to happen here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to take a trip over south of Peoria over to Powerton uh, water cooling lake, the Powerton wildlife area, whatever it is. But it's a cooling lake for the power plant there in Powerton. And it's known for having some monster blue cats in it. It also has a healthy population of striped bass too. So, excuse me. So I imagine, we'll probably be doing catfish the whole time we're there. We're not going to keep anything out of there. I mean, when them fish get 30, 40, 50 pounds, uh, I don't want to eat them anyway. So, but they do stock that lake, so it's constantly being supplied with new fish. They did the last thing I read on it, the electroshock they done, I think was a year or two ago, but like 60% of the fish in there were over 25 inches, on blue cats. So, and like they estimated 20% of them were 34 inches or longer. If you get a chance to go somewhere and 20%, the fish in there, or 20% of the fish in there that you're fishing for are over, what some people would consider a trophy fish, you go. I mean, it's a no brainer for me. I think when we're going to go, I'm going to take shad. I'm going to take some, there you can use Asian carp for bait there. And I think I'm going to take some Asian carp fillets and some shad. I'm going to take chicken. Um, I'm going to try it all, but I plan on going up there and fishing today because it's only open from like 8 in the morning until 8 at night or something. I'm going to fish one day. I'm going to get a hotel room stay and then fish a second day too. Let's see here. Shad's been easy to find. Yeah, shad's everywhere on the Mark Twain. You didn't have luck with chicken breast. I find that. I mean, I caught them even in the summer. It seemed like when the water got over about 50 degrees on the chicken, lose the jello, just straight chicken worked. Fish on the riverside of the re-rig. Here's the thing about the riverside of the re-rig. I have an area. I'm friends with the people that own. When you go past the bridge in the first corner where it goes back to where it bends back to the left, it goes all the way around the farm down there. And they're friends of mine. I've known them. I went to school with it's Earl Long owns it, and Tim lives down there. And then in some of my catfish videos, I've had David with me. That's his dad that owns all that down there. And I mean, I can get down there and fish any area down there. And David fishes down there a lot, and they catch some fish down there. I mean, we fished a lot when I was in high school when JD Long and I ran around together. I fished a lot. We caught a lot of fish down there. But as far as for me to fish it, I'd have to get some sort of different boat. You can pretty well wade all the way from the re-reg dam all the way. There's a couple holes you'd have to swim in, but most of it after you get past that re-reg, even at the re-reg, is waist deep. When I was younger, there's a couple of creeks that run in there that we used to have access to that run into the river down there below the re-reg quite a ways. Um, and we would walk them and catch like walleye and crappie and whatnot when the water was running in, they'd go up in them creeks and then the water would go down and they get trapped in them holes. And you just take a little box, and a fishing rod, and you'd walk hole to hole to hole and just take a stringer with you and you catch them, put them on a stringer and just drag them behind you, And we used to do a lot of that. I haven't done that for 25, 30 years. But as far as the re-reg dam and below, I used to fish the re-reg a lot. The problem I have with fishing down there, it gets a lot of pressure. I mean, a lot of pressure. In 2008, when the lake got up and they basically had to open it up and just let water out and washed all that out. And then it was closed for several years where you couldn't fish down there. They didn't nobody fish down there. And then they opened it back up in 2012. When they opened that back up down there, that was just some of the best fishing around, both for catfish. Guys, I mean, they were lining the banks catching walleye, crappie. I was going in there. I caught several 30 to 50 pound blue cat down there that summer. I mean, it was just awesome fishing. And then every year it just got a little worse after that. They're at the re-rig. But so I just think it gets too much pressure. I mean, me, as far as that re-rig down there, I'd like to see them close it for like 3 years, open it for a year, close it for a year, and just, or open it for 2 years, close it for a year, a year, see how that does. Just, the fishing down there was so good. It reminded me of back when I was in my, before I was a teenager, when Dad would take me down there after they first opened it. And then, and when I was in high school, and I drive down there after I got my driver's license, you could go down there and just catch fish. I mean, big fish too, not just a bunch of little ones. Now, when you go down there, last time I think I was down there, I caught a bunch of channel cat and blue cat about like this. As far as catfish, crappie, they were small. It just gets too much pressure to be real good. Now, I know some guys that fish out of kayaks, and they put in, they're 61 off Route O. There's a boat ramp, and they'll put in there, and they catch a lot of smallmouth and crappie and whatnot in the kayaks, and they do pretty good. But for me, my 18-foot Sea Arc, I can't even get it off the trailer below the re-rig dam, and I wouldn't be able to go very far anyway. I definitely couldn't run my big motor, but it's only a couple feet deep there in the summer, unless they're running water. And then if I do put it in the running water, what happens if they drop the water? Then I can't get it back. So I just don't fish down there. I do fish a lot between the two dams. Um, I fished quite a bit there, not this year, but last year is primarily where I catfished at, and did really good. Between the dams can be really good, especially one spot in particular you can actually walk to from the re-rig. You park up at the re-rig, walk around on the back side on the upriver side of the re-rig, and go out like at where that point is. Go across the re-rig dam and go out where that point is, and that backwash back there. There's actually a hole of water. You got to be able to cast quite a ways, but there's actually, it's like it reminds me of a pond, is what it is. It's got a real deep hole, and it's got a bunch of root wads and stuff that's washed down river and gotten in over there, and it's kind of settled in there. And it's a really good spot to catfish. I've caught a lot of nice blues in the 25 to 35 pound range, a couple of years ago doing that. I've caught a few there in my boat last year, but no big ones. They were mostly in the most of them were 5 to 15 pounds. Uh, but other than that, I mainly just fish it between the two dams for everything. When I go down early spring, I'll fish for crappie between the two dams. And then I'll catfish between the dams. It's actually one of my favorite places. I'm not big on lines. I'm not a fan of them. It wouldn't hurt my feelings on Mark Twain if they would just do away with trout lining and do away with the fiberglass poles. And make it to where if you want to set lines, they're jugs, no anchoring. You have to be there with them. One of the rule changes they propose is a 26-inch length limit. And to me, until they get rid of the lines and stuff and keep people from taking only big fish, it's going to be hard to do what they're wanting to do with that length limit. I think we're just going to end up with a bunch of fish under that, because everybody's going to keep everything 26 an inch and over, instead of the guys that normally, like me, if I'm going to keep fish to eat, I keep the ones that are 18 to 24, 25 inches. Anything under 30 inches goes back. So I think it's just going to kind of screw us in a way on blue cat. But I don't keep much blue cat anyway, so I'd rather keep a channel cat. It's the same size on them smaller ones, just because there's more meat. But no, looking forward, like I said, a trip going to Powerton. As far as crappie fishing goes, probably be doing most of that at Thomas Hill. Here, I know, like Saturday, they're looking at like 1 degree, I think it is, at night. And then there's several nights coming up pretty much after Friday, it's going to start getting cold. So I think at lake it's probably going to get pretty hard before long in the next probably 3 weeks or so. If the temperatures keep going the way they are in the long range, we're probably going to see the water start getting hard. So um, I'll probably start taking a drive up to Thomas Hill to catch crappie. Might catfish up there some. I haven't ever done any good up there catfishing. All I've caught's been a little channel cat. I call them good stocking size if you want to stock a pond, they're good ones to catch. So I don't know how much catfishing I'll do up there, but I'll definitely probably be making a drive up there to go catfishing or crappie fishing for sure for some videos. And then sometime, hopefully next summer, I want to go down and fish that Tennessee River system. And I'm not talking, Santee Cooper or anything like that. I'm talking the river, Tennessee River. Um, I know of some spots down there that I've talked to a couple guys that fish down there that have YouTube channels, and they've kind of turned me on to a couple spots there. They say that if I come down there to call them when I'm coming, and they'll hook up with me and take me out and show me the trophy catfishing that they have down there. They go down there, them guys down there, they go out and catch, 20, 30 pounders like we catch 5 pounders here. They don't even consider it a trophy down there until it hits about 65 pounds, these guys. So I really want to get down there this summer. And if I go down there though, I'm going to stay about a week. And I'm going to put some time in on the water because my personal best is 56 pounds. And I think I'm probably going to have to go a little further south to beat that. Without having to spend an ungodly amount of time on the water sitting there watching nothing happen because I'm running baits this big around. That way nothing smaller can even hit it. So, but that's it. Just a quick, it turned into a little longer than I wanted it to be, but yeah, that's what's planned for the future. Once again, everybody that watches my videos, everybody that subscribes, especially the ones that subscribe to my videos, thank you so much for your support over the last year. It's a fairly new channel, but it's not going nowhere. I'm gonna keep posting as long as they let me do it, and we'll get some stuff filmed here and see some new waters and stuff over the next year for sure. And just a reminder once again, Strike Through Fishing here on YouTube, 7:30. Jason Kaiser and myself be talking about fishing here. Be talking about the fishing out at Mark Twain Lake and whatnot. And more than likely, hopefully we get Kenny Wilkerson in there too. And y'all can ask questions and whatnot. So for now, thanks for watching.